Sometimes you find a creature in a video game that makes you think, yeah, I'm gonna need to leave the country. Well, it's a good thing I got some land over in Scotland. Where's that plot of land again? This is why today we're diving into 7 of the most mysterious creatures ever found in video games, brought to you by Established Titles. Established Titles' model is based on a historic Scottish tradition, where anyone who owns land is granted the title of Lord or Lady. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of land with a unique plot number on a private estate in Scotland, and even send you a certificate with a crest. First 200 people who use my link to get their own title pack will have their plot right next to mine, plus 10% off, so click the link down below to join the Oddheader Kingdom. Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Thanks to Midknight Huargo for submitting this on the Oddheader Discord. 2008 Super Smash Bros. Brawl is the 3rd installment in Nintendo's hit fighter series, which was lauded at the time for having more characters than all of its titles before, including surprise characters like Solid Snake and Sonic the Hedgehog. The game apparently at one point had even more surprising characters than that, as during Adventure Mode, the Subspace of Mystery, there's a scene where you could run through a display room and see every enemy in the game on display for a cool little moment, except this strange bowling ball with limbs that doesn't appear anywhere else in the game. He looks just as surprised as anyone else that he made it into the game. The creature's name is evidently Mizzo, revealed by their collectible trophy that can also be found in the game, which even refers to Mizzo as an extremely bizarre being, and also confirms that Mizzo can only be found in the display room. This confuses the matter whether Mizzo ever had any other purpose besides just appearing in the display room, though evidence does suggest otherwise, as apparently he has enemy animations in the file separate from the stage model seen here, though reportedly these animation files only cause Mizzo's strange limbs to tear across the screen, which usually results in the game crashing, as if he couldn't have gotten creepier. Now his only known attack is to crash your game. It's still unknown what the full extent of Mizzo's capabilities would be, but that is one demon-possessed mutant watermelon thing that I wouldn't want to with. Subnautica. Thanks to Sidas, Chimcan, Numget, and Ccovenant Kid for submitting this mystery on the Oddheader website and Discord. Subnautica is an open-world action-adventure survival game that was officially released in 2018 by Unknown Worlds Entertainment, and released in early access to players in 2014. The game follows the only known survivor of a crashed spaceship as they explore the ocean of a mysterious planet, with most of the game taking place underwater. Though Subnautica is not explicitly a horror game, many players find it extremely unnerving as they voyage deeper into the ocean, surrounded by all manner of hazards, freaky-looking creatures you'd rather not get close to, and once you dive deep enough into the ocean, complete in utter darkness. Some players, however, remember a mystery that was in the game from a beta build from 2017 that's been archived since, where if you were to explore far beyond the edge of the map in an area known as the Void, you would hear some incredibly unsettling noises. Strange rock formations generated as you ventured further into the area, creating a maze that appeared to trap you inside, all while the strange horns repeated their sinister haunting sound. Unfortunately, those wanting to know what these sounds belong to will likely never know, as when the game officially released, the out-of-bounds area looked entirely different, with the Void now just being straight darkness, and the creepy maze and eerie horns completely removed from the game. Some believe the horn sounds were supposed to be the original sounds belonging to a rumored mysterious giant creature lurking out in the Void, not unlike the mysterious supposedly extinct gargantuan leviathan, whose skull can also be suspiciously found in the Void. Further testament to this lies in the fact that players have continued to hear strange noises while at extreme depths in the Void. Many believe there's still some sort of enormous creature out there waiting to be found in Subnautica's waters, while others have the theory that the area and creepy sounds were removed for simply being frightening as hell, rather than wonder what monstrous behemoth players almost encountered in the waters all those years ago, and may be still lurking down deep in the darkest depths of Subnautica to this day. Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar's biggest open-world game to date, Red Dead Redemption 2 continues to be an endless source of nightmare-fueled discoveries, with yet another regarding a haunting secret in this mysterious mansion that can be found near the Van Horn Trading Post in New Hanover. The house appears to be abandoned and boarded up from all sides, but if you climb onto the roof, you can crawl into an open window where you can find... oh hell no! What the hell's been going on in here? The house is covered in diagrams of the unknown occupants' plan to create what they refer to as the Immensa Creatora, which appears to be a human skull fused with a boar's head on a bear's body with vulture wings and 3 sets of arms with long talons, waiting to rip open the flesh of whatever comes near it. Yikes. Also inside the house is what appears to be a prototype of the hideous creature, with the creator noting that they tried to bring it back to life, but didn't succeed, though it does seem that wasn't always intended to be the case. case. The Immensa Creatura that can be found here is nothing more than a solid object in the environment, without any other animations or anything else tied to it that we know of. However, it was recently noticed among the Red Dead community that there's at least 1,400 pedestrian models in the data of the game. One of the models that can be found is a pedestrian form of this Frankenbeast, meaning this motherfucker is actually alive and able to roam around the environment, unlike this dead one found in the house, which leaves us with one of two possibilities. Either Rockstar made a reasonable decision to remove the resurrected form of the Immensa Creatura from the game, or more nightmarishly, there's a possibility of this guy somehow walking around in the game. It doesn't help that in recent months, players across the internet have started to report seeing the Immensa Creatura inexplicably walking around their games. But given these reports just started cropping up around the same time of the pedestrian model's discovery, it seems very likely, despite their strong insistence otherwise, that these are just modders trying to pull a prank on the community. At least, for the love of God, I hope it's a prank. I really hope it's just a prank. Duke Nukem Manhattan Project. Thanks to Uniwersal for submitting this on the Oddheader Discord. Duke Nukem Manhattan Project is a 2002 2.5 Duke Nukem title that was released during the 14-year wait for Duke Nukem Forever, which was first announced in 1997 that finally released in 2011, when unfortunately everyone was pretty much done with the Duke Nukem stick. 2002 for Duke Nukem Manhattan Project was also pushing it for many, even more than 6 or 7 years later when a new creature was found in the game for the very first time. As it was found after so many years, if you were to collect all 240 collectible nukes on the hardest difficulty, and then were to press down on the specific pathway that can't be interacted with at any other time in the game, Duke will be teleported to this secret platform floating in space. Approaching the edge, you can see a giant glowing orb that doesn't do anything until you try to attack it, at which point it tries to completely destroy you. The boss is called Wazma, which appears to be a clear reference to Ozma from Final Fantasy IX. The boss has so much health that even if you were to use all of your ammo on it, it doesn't do much. But fortunately, you're given infinite ammo exclusively for this fight. But here's where things get odd. Since the game is normally a fixed camera side-scrolling platformer, there's no way to normally move the camera. But if you were to hack the camera and move it inside the Wazma, you can see an all-powerful green version of Duke Nukem staring down the man himself. Great. Now there's two of them. Why Wazma has traveled to Manhattan with an alien Duke Nukem inside is a mystery that's remained unsolved for well over a decade. Definitely a completely mystifying discovery, even though I don't think anyone was looking for any more Duke Nukem at this point. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Thanks to barslyck for submitting this mystery on Oddheader.com. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe released earlier this year as an expanded reimagining of the original game, and rather than answering any of the game's many mysteries, seems to have introduced way more, with the player being able to explore another 24 possible endings. Many of these endings, though, are introduced by just picking up and carrying this bucket that appears after beating a specific ending in the game. Basically, carrying the bucket into an ending changes the whole thing to in some ridiculous way to being about the bucket. But is it ever actually anything more than an inanimate bucket? Who knows with this game. In one of these endings, the game suddenly takes an unexpectedly dark turn, as the player finds a mysterious tape recording that when played reveals a man who says he's been counting the number of days.
This is day number 295.
And seems to be going insane over the bucket's reassurance powers and how the world changes when holding it.
What do I do with this treasure?
Before coming up with a scheme to monetize the experience of holding the bucket and getting rich. However, before they can follow through with their plan, we hear someone or something break down the door, and the person in the recording calls it
Gambarata.
Before we hear this said Gambarata growl, and what sounds like them mauling the person in the recording to death. Now you're probably thinking, what in the is Gambarata? And honestly, outside of the game's known mischievous creators, no one seems to know. Although it has been noticed that Gambarata is similar to the word Gambhirata, which means seriousness in Hindi, which has been proposed as a possible reference to the serious ending, which was an ending where you got scolded in the original release if you were to hack the game, though the ending hasn't been found in Ultra Deluxe, despite the room still being present in the game, but with no way to access it that we know of. Gambarata is mentioned again in the out-of-map ending, which is an ending you get when you break out of bounds in a certain part of the game. In the new version of this ending, Stanley insults the bucket by calling it a bucket, at which point his canister companion reveals that they were not always a bucket, but turned into one by Gambarata, at which point Stanley stabs the bucket and the game starts over. Right, even so, this still isn't the last we hear of this mysterious creature, as in the museum ending, the player can hear Gambarata being chanted near the cave drawing. and the game's soundtrack even has a track titled Gambarata, Treasure of the Profaned Vault. What are the what now? There does seem to be a lot of clues hinting there is something more going on with Gambarata that we still haven't figured out. Although in all honesty, in a game where one of the endings is stabbing a bucket to its bloody demise, this is the last game I'd expect to get a logical explanation from. Ittle Dew 2 Plus. Thanks to LEGO Fan for submitting this in a comment in one of my previous videos. Ittle Dew 2 is the 2016 sequel to Ittle Dew released on Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, where Ittle and her buddy Tipsy crash land on a mysterious island on a quest to rebuild their raft and escape, with Ittle Dew 2 Plus releasing in 2017 on the Nintendo Switch and Steam in 2019. Exclusive to Ittle Dew Plus is a location called the Dream World, where the final boss is a mysterious creature known as the Napping Fly in its pupa stage. After defeating the pupa state napping fly, the dream world is complete, with the player never encountering the fully grown napping fly, and only being able to collect extra cards with art of random characters that serve no purpose. However, in the bottom right of the dream world hub is what appeared to be an inaccessible bridge, and in the game's manual, included only with the physical Switch release, was a secret message that told players to use the ice ring and force wand in a tight spot to get across the spike gap, allowing access to the House of Secrets. Inside the House of Secrets is a library with bookshelves that tell you about little secrets in the game. However, there's also some additional messages about the mysterious napping fly, such as if its pupa is disturbed, the napping fly adult will hatch in a smaller and weaker state. One more bookshelf in the room states a brave dreamer travels around the whole world, and another says a brave dreamer is not satisfied with only doing something once, which seem to be pointless flavor text but are actually hints to run repeatedly around this globe in the room, revealing a secret passage that gives a code. It took the player community an incredibly long time to figure out where this code was supposed to be used, until finally they found this spot on the floor, which after they stood on each symbol in the order of the code, revealed a secret passage that took them far out of bounds. Holy shit! Oh my god, please no. Good lord! Oh, that thing. Oh, is that a way out? Please be a way out. Please be a way out. Huh? Well, it at least seems to be a lot safer here, but I'm sure I'm gonna regret saying that. Oh, the napping fly. Oh shit. Holy shit. Oh, oh no. No. No! No! Oh, was it only a dream? Maybe not. The House's Secrets said the napping fly nests in our subconscious, spawning in the dreamless darkness of our minds. And the townsfolk said that it feeds on our dreams, meaning maybe this wasn't just a dream after all, and that the napping fly may have already begun to nest in Ittle's mind after disturbing the pupa earlier in the game, slowly feeding on her subconscious until there's nothing left but more darkness and nightmarish giant insects feasting on what remains of her slowly deteriorating mind. Yeah. Let's just go if it was just a dream. Saints Row 2. Thanks to Zenith and HawkeyeSolo for submitting this mystery on the Oddheader Discord and Twitter. Follow me on Twitter for more updates and mysteries in real time there, before we lose Twitter for good. Saints Row is an open-world GTA-styled series with a number of mysterious creatures surrounding it, some of which are worth entertaining while others, not so much. One of the more legit unsolved creatures is this one submitted by Zenith in Saints Row 4, where if you were to walk up to this random house, you would hear what sounds like somebody getting viciously mauled by an unknown creature from the other side. Everything okay in there? He's dead. Another possibly legitimate unsolved creature is this entity submitted by HawkeyeSolo that was found when another user was playing the game and— oh, did you see him? Go back. Who the f*** is this? If we slow it down, it is kind of weird how he fades in as the camera moves. Some have said he's maybe a poorly loaded pedestrian model, but I don't remember any pedestrians looking like this. Now I know what a lot of diehard Saints Row fans are probably thinking: the freezer. And this is where I start to get skeptical. The Freezer is supposedly an entity that appears in Saints Row 2, that a fair number of YouTubers claim occurs if you were to glitch out of bounds of the zombie uprising map, as their stories claim. If you explore out of bounds long enough, a creature they call the Freezer will suddenly appear that will freeze your game, and somehow render your game unplayable if you try to boot it again, even though no glitch has ever been known to do this. So here's the thing. I spent a whole month about a year ago trying to verify this myself under every possible variable and condition, and I never even got anything slightly of the sort to happen. And when I started investigating online further, I became pretty certain it's just a hoax. Maybe someone out there will prove me wrong, but as it stands, all the video evidence out there appears pretty easy to fake. Every video is the same where the game freezes when this is really as easy as switching to a still image in your video editor. At this point, the freezer appears, which looks different in every single video. Plus, adding a shadow-like stickman to an image using Photoshop is probably the easiest thing you could possibly fake using the software software. One video that really sells the idea of the freezer even has other hidden images of the freezer throughout the video that, what do you know, didn't happen to freeze his game, even though he explains in the same video that it freezes your game every time it appears, which I'm pretty sure was supposed to be a clue the whole thing's a joke. And another similar out-of-bounds creature was also propagated by the Saints Row community even before the freezer, all the way back on the original Saints Row pre-release demo disc. As they claim when you got out of bounds of that demo, you could hear a merman on the other side of a wall of a bridge. Well, I got out of bounds and was able to determine that the splashes on the other side of the wall are just pedestrians who fall through the bridge as the collision unloads when you're standing out of bounds. And as far as the merman sounds that can be heard in the original videos, that, once again, is just a simple editing trick. That time by just simply adding new audio to the footage that doesn't exist in the game. All in all, the Saints Row community just seems to be having some fun with its fans, that a large number of people have caught wind of not realizing that it's maybe a joke that's gone too far. Someone could still prove me wrong and, oh my god, is that the freak? And thanks again to Established Titles for sponsoring this video. Their title packs are a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland, while also helping global reforestation efforts, as Established Titles partners with One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to plant one tree for every title pack ordered. Plus, it's pretty sick I'm able to include my lore title on things like plane tickets and dating profiles. Too bad I'm married now. Title packs make an amazing last-minute gift, and Established Titles is running a massive Black Friday sale right now. Plus, you can use my code Oddheader for an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/Oddheader to get your gifts now. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and if you know of any other mysterious creatures in video games that you'd like to see me cover, submit through oddheader.com, come join the Discord, or even send me a shout through Twitter or Reddit. And thanks again to Slippy Slice for helping get the footage in this video. Feel free to subscribe to him down below as well. Shout out to Angel the Fox, Ash Photography, Andrew FM, Bitwif27, Chad Biscuits, Dear Mid Crowley, Flex, Grow Ups, Ed Moffat, Eddie Talkspin the Bleach Primid, Fox M Cloud 123, Leo Maurer, Miss Arctic Foxy, Rackman 22, Red Team Medic, Riley S, Robert Eisenman, Scarities, Starcore 2, Terran Stock, Towerizer, and Jan Banier for their Patreon support. Stay tuned.